Being busy. I mean, there's different ways we use the word. Some people say, I'm busy. You're like, oh, and they're like, no, no, no. I mean, I'm busy. That's good. I'm doing a lot of things. I'm very productive. But I'm not using it that way. Using it a way when people say I'm busy, as in I'm too busy to do this or do that, right? And I think that the main issue is, I mean, obviously the issue is time, but the main issue is people require blocks of time to accomplish stuff. That's why I think work is so productive, because you have a block of time. For me, if I'm working in the hospital, even though you get interruptions, it's nothing close to the interruptions you get at home. Wife wants something, and then you're done with that. And a baby wants something. Or if baby doesn't want something and she's quiet, then you're like, better check on her because something's wrong too. But the idea is that we actually have a lot of time. It's just not in blocks. And therein lies the crux of the matter, right? If you look at increments, fractions, small amounts of stuff, most of us disregard it. We say, it doesn't matter, right? I mean, your pocket change. You can save it up and redeem it someday, and it gives you 20 bucks after like months. I mean, when you take a lot of people, then it adds up, right? But if you just yourself, it doesn't add up to much. Now, the issue with time, though, is it's a little bit different because it actually adds up to a lot of time. Maybe even a whole hour a day, which would be a lot of time if you had it uninterrupted, one block. But you don't. You have a minute here, a minute there, all through the day. How do you use it? See, you look at stories like you hear about this novelist in Japan. They took their commute time on the train to write a novel. And that's brilliant, that's marvelous. But commute is still uninterrupted time. It's not the most comfortable time, right? They're sitting on a train. I mean, in Japan, usually you're on a local train, not an express train. And so you don't have a table in front of you, you're probably tapping away your phone. It's just not the nicest way to be writing a novel, but it's still uninterrupted time. But we're talking about the issue with interrupted time and how you handle it. And so we're creatures who don't get started right away and who don't shut off right away, right? I have a friend who's rather abrupt, and sometimes the phone just conversation ends. But that's not how most of us do it. We start a conversation gradually, except if you're really excited to say, hey, guess what? And then we end it gradually. We don't just say, hey, I gotta go, bye. Because that's sort of weird, rude, what have you. So the question is, how do we do stuff if it takes us startup time, warm up time, and cool down time, right? You're trying to learn how to do something, and you watch a minute here, watch a minute there. Is that really useful? Don't you need uninterrupted time? If you're trying to write something, if you're trying to calculate something, if you're trying to do a big project, a minute here, a minute there isn't going to give you much, is it? I mean, I don't have the solution. I just know that this is the issue. How do I solve this? I mean, I'm thinking personally, a minute here, a minute there, right? Maybe you do stuff like learning. Because watching videos on YouTube is sort of what we do anyways with time. And instead, I'll just watch informational stuff. That would be helpful, right? And when I have unlimited time, then I could use that knowledge to do stuff with. But the question is, how do you build up these blocks of time to actually do something with? And I think that's the issue, right? Most of us don't know how to do it. I'm sure some people out there do. I don't know what their secret is, what the trick is. But my friend just tries to use money to buy his way into time. And it's funny because you look at that, and that's true for many people, right? Bill Gates is notorious for reading, for loving to read, that is. He has a book list, but even before that, right? His wife complained that he would be there reading. It's like, yeah, it's like, don't you could load up the car. He would just read until they're ready to go. Other people loading up, he doesn't care. He just wants to read, right? Dishwashing, waste of time, read. I mean, you could use some money to solve some issues to give you some time, but you're still going to end up with fragments, chunks of an hour that you're not sure what to do with. And most of us waste time doing nothing or watching silly videos. And if we could figure out a way to use this time towards something, then we would not be busy. We would have time to do something, to accomplish something big, not just have watched another funny video, the viral moment of the day.